According to myth, Tomoe Gozen was as tenacious and ruthless as she was beautiful, and she commanded as many as 1,000 men. Her skill in combat was unparalleled, and she quickly rose through the ranks to become a highly respected warrior. Tomoe Gozen, an infamous samurai from the 12th century, is just one example of the few women who defied convention and became skilled warriors in Japan's male-dominated samurai culture. Hey there history lovers, welcome back to Hallmark History. Today's video is all about the incredible Tomoe Gozen, a legendary female samurai from Japan. Tomoe's life is rife with tales of heroism, cunning, and combat prowess, and her history is shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Tomoe's story, from her beginnings as a noble woman to her transformation into a fearsome warrior, is one that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Tomoe's entire life, from her early days learning the martial arts to her participation in some of Japan's most pivotal battles, will be the subject of our investigation. We'll be debunking the rumors and examining the legends about her as well. If you're interested in learning more about one of the most significant figures in Japanese history, then you should definitely hit that like button and subscribe to Hallmark History. So, shall we? Tomoe Gozen was a mysterious figure who was both stunning and terrifying, but little is known about her past. Tomoe Gozen's legend is remarkable not only because she is said to have been a female samurai but also because she is said to have been an elite warrior whom other warriors feared. The word samurai originally referred to an elite group of Japanese warriors and means to be on one's guard. According to urban legend, Tomoe Gozen was every bit as beautiful as she was fierce. The first samurai appeared in the 8th century, but they didn't start amassing significant power until the 11th. They committed themselves as loyal warriors to the daimyo, feudal lords who were themselves involved in constant power struggles. Around the year 1600, the samurai were recognized as a separate social class, earning them the right to openly carry two swords. Women who were not married to samurai were anticipated to get married, have children, and take care of the home while their husbands went off to war, just as they were in the Western world at the time. Some of these women even sported tiny swords under their clothing, as they were expected to be highly educated and capable of protecting their homes and families. Some women from the 12th to the 19th centuries even rose to the rank of a warrior. Indeed, there were Japanese women who received training to safeguard their homes and families from invaders long before the samurai emerged. The term onna geisha, which translates to woman warrior, was commonly used to refer to this group. Weapons available to onna geisha included the kaiken, a short dagger typically carried only by samurai, and the naginata, a long, curved-bladed sword. The naginata, the onna preferred geisha's weapon and a sign that they belonged to the warrior caste, became the most iconic symbol of their identity. The naginata was an important part of the dowry that a samurai's daughter would bring to her new family. One such warrior was Tomoe Gozen. Tomoe Gozen is arguably the most well-known female fighter in Japanese history, but much of what is known about her is based on myth rather than fact. Since it was impolite to call a woman by her given name, this may not have been her true identity. Tomoe was a reference to the pattern on her shoulder pads, and Gozen was an honorific title given to women in ancient Japan. The Hikomonogatari, a collection of ballads, tales, and various texts compiled into one epic historical saga in about 1240, is one of the primary sources of information about Tomoe's story. The feud between the Taira, also known as the Hika, and the Minamoto is dramatized here with some dramatic license taken. Tomoe was the samurai of Minamoto Kiso Yoshinaka, a high-ranking official in the Minamoto clan. Tomoe's mother had been Yoshinaka's wet nurse, and she eventually became one of his most dependable military leaders and, depending on the source, either his wife or a concubine. She allegedly oversaw a force of up to 1,000 men. Tomoe is said to have beheaded an enemy soldier while riding her horse. Tomoe was technically not an onna geisha but rather an onna, a woman who actively participated in combat rather than staying at home to protect her family. She wasn't alone. Artifacts have shown that women made up a larger share of Japanese armies than was previously believed. Tomoe was described as having long black hair and a fair complexion, and her face was very lovely by the Hikemonogatari. She was also a fearless rider whom neither the fiercest horse nor the roughest ground could dismay, and so deftly did she handle a sword and bow that she was a match for 1,000 warriors, and fit to meet either god or the devil. Although a naginata style bears her name, legend has it that she preferred the longer, straighter katana to kill her many enemies. Yoshinaka claimed a few major victories during the Genpei War against the Taira from 1180 to 1185, but his own family turned against him as a result of his success and poor leadership. After suffering a devastating defeat in 1184, he fled the capital of Kyoto with only a handful of warriors, Tomoe among them. Tomoe Gozen fought and defended her master, Minamoto no Yoshinaka, alongside whom she may have been a concubine, wife, or servant. One account claims that during this flight from the enemy, Tomoe met two famous enemy generals. She was so successful in defeating Hatakeyama that he fled rather than have his family dishonored by his death at the hands of a woman. The second one, Uchida, she literally cut in half. It is also said that as Yoshinaka, Tomoe, and the remaining samurai prepared to charge against Yoshinaka's own cousin's army on the battlefield of Awazu, Yoshinaka warned Tomoe that, as a woman, she had better retreat. Maybe he felt it would be embarrassing to die in the company of a female companion, so he encouraged her to commit ritual suicide instead. Maybe he thought she wasn't strong enough to put up much of a fight. Despite Yoshinaka's best efforts, Tomoe remained unconvinced. Tomoe, as told in the Hikemonogatari, wanted to kill one last worthy opponent in memory of Yoshinaka. Tomoe apparently charged headfirst at a group of approaching rival warriors, grabbed their leader by the throat, and decapitated him on the front of her saddle. Much of Tomoe's backstory, including what happened to her after the battle, is contested. In one account, she fled the battlefield at the age of 28 to live the rest of her life as a Buddhist nun until her death at age 90. According to the Hikemonogatari, Tomoe Gozen was kidnapped by Wada Yoshimori and made to marry him or become his concubine in the expanded edition. According to a third version of events, Tomoe exacted her vengeance on Yoshinaka's enemies by killing them, then she walked into the ocean while carrying Yoshinaka's severed head to prevent its desecration. The stories of her brave and brutal actions will live on long after whatever happened to her. There is a no play written about her in the 15th century. It is one of only 18 no plays out of 200 that is dedicated to a warrior, and she is honored in the parade at the Jidai Matsuri, Kyoto's Festival of the Ages, held annually on October 22. River World, a mini-series on the Sci-Fi Channel from 2010, and the science fiction and fantasy trilogy The Tomoe Gozen Saga by American writer Jessica Salmonson both feature her. Despite the mystery surrounding her final years, Tomoe Gozen's legacy as a warrior and a symbol of female strength and courage lives on to this day. Her story has inspired countless works of art and literature, and her name is still remembered and revered in Japan and around the world. The tales told of her bravery ensure that she will not be forgotten. Our video on the legendary samurai Tomoe Gozen comes to a close here. Tomoe's story is inspiring for many reasons, not the least of which is her remarkable martial arts ability and her unflinching courage in battle. The lessons of tenacity, bravery, and the constant pursuit of excellence are all on display in her life. I trust that your time spent getting to know Tomoe was rewarding and that you were moved to action by what you read about her. Please subscribe to Hallmark History and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you again soon.